today?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And welcome to Real in Films. I'm super excited to interview you and get to know more about you and your character in Warrior Nun, and as well all of your other projects that you have created and that you have been. So my first initial question would be, how was your experience in the hit Netflix series Warriors Nun?
Well, it was great. I mean, w- when I mean great, I mean a lot of things. It was very interesting. It was the character has been a journey for me. So it's been, a discovery moment by moment. Um, I think it gave me the chance to, yeah, to explore parts of myself, even in acting, that were quite new. Um, the fact that she has basically a mask. She's a nun. She takes care of her girls, but also, she has a lot of contradictions. And so also being able to live through those moments in the two seasons has been a chance for me to, yeah, to be there and just have fun. And no, there are many things to say about what the series has meant. It's been also, through a long time. So there was a pandemic in the middle.
Yeah.
uh, So things have changed worldwide and in my life as well. But yeah, I just can't say good things about this experience, obviously.
So if there were a chance, because um you and I know that fans are literally in social media asking for season 3 because of the cancellation that happened for this in season 2, and it was unexpectedly being a very high rated show in Rotten Tomatoes, and it was critically acclaimed. But if there was a season 3, would you like to come back as Mother Superion?
Well, um, I think that when something like that happens, and given the circumstances, it's a lot about the story that you want to tell. It's a lot about the choices that the network makes, which are not all the time what the fans want want them to be. I mean, ideally, if I could, if I had if I could have a spell, I would say yes, and I would say yes, with a very interesting story and a development of character, which goes in unexpected directions. I think
Okay.
this is what I mean. This is what all actresses would answer, I guess. But then, reality is something we have to acknowledge as well.
Being that already season 2 has passed, and a couple of months and time has passed already from season 2, do you have any stories that you take to heart while you were filming the second season of Warrior Nuns?
You mean take to heart as
Yeah, something that
behind the
had
scenes?
yeah, behind the scenes, exactly.
Well, when you work with colleagues that are younger and starting their path, or some of them at least, it's always interesting to share experiences and to have the chance to talk. Or in the case of Father Vincent, who is my, you know more or less my age. It's interesting and it's interesting to have talks about what we like, what we would, want for the future, about other projects, and you spend a lot of time together, so you really share a lot. You share your life basically in those months. I remember I had a lot of fun with Olivia, with Sister Camilla. Um, I said this, it said that in other interviews that when we finished, when we stopped shooting, very dramatic scenes, we used to sing songs about with Raffaella Carrà's song. Raffaella Carrà is a Italian singer and showgirl performer, very well known also in Spain. So we shared these songs that were very happy songs. So after these scenes, we start to dance and sing those songs all together, and it was a kind of, yeah, a leitmotif of the crew as well at a point.
Oh, okay. That sounds like super fun. I just imagine that the scene ends, cameras are off, directors just planning the next scene, and you guys are just dancing and singing.
No, we were literally crying, and then, and in the scene, and then there's a stop, and then we were fiesta, fantastica, and everyone. It was really fun.
So Sylvia, I wanted to know a little bit more. Probably, I'm sorry if I pronounced these names incorrectly, but can you tell me a little bit more about Teatro Valle Occupato and Angelo Mai? I did notice that there are these are projects or I would say movements that you are in or co-founded. Can you tell us a little bit more about those two endeavors
Yes,
that you have? Because I
yes.
want
So
I want to be honest.
Valle Occupato, you said it quite well.
I did
Valle Occupato.
okay.
So the Valle Occupato was because now it's been closed for almost 10 years. It's the most ancient theater in Rome, 1727, and it was closing actually because of a law, Italian law, about cuts in culture, especially in live entertainment. So, and this was an institution, like it was the
Okay.
most important theater about contemporary theater that had international circulation. So it was really important, and uh, it was the beginning of the Occupy movement. There were the Arab Springs, and Occupy movement in New York was just starting, and there was this movement going on, and we decided to occupy the place, the theater, for 3 days. But then those 3 days became 3 years because the citizenship participation was so strong, and we built a foundation on commons. So it was also not just a movement, but we actually built an institution with the signature and participation of almost 6,000 citizens, and it was huge. It was after that, six theaters were occupied in Italy, and we were invited everywhere in Europe to talk about this experience, which was really powerful. And unfortunately, after 3 years, the mayor of Rome,
Mhm.
they decided that we had to go out because they had to do absolutely works to renovate the space, and
Okay.
these works were so urgent that they haven't started yet, in 10 years have passed.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's a big parable. And in the meanwhile, there was this other place that I occupied as well when in 2004. We've been evicted 3 times, but because the space itself created so much culture and was so well known, all the artists, known and less known in Italy, came across it. We finally found another space. Now it's been almost 10 years in the other space. And so in 2024, we're going to celebrate 20 years of this, of the foundation of this space, Angelo Mai. It's a collective of artists. We are actors, actresses, directors, musicians, visual artists, and we're a collective, and we're family. and um, and we're still there. We're still struggling a little bit with, let's say, formal institutions, but we do theater. It's a great venue. Theater, contemporary theater mainly, music, concerts, artistic residency, and we produce as well. And we became also a company. There's also a theater company residence inside. And yeah, and we produce other plays as well. We co-produce, and yeah, it's a great place.
I got to see images of the place, and it looks amazing. I'm one that loves, besides the fact that I love film and series and moving forward, but I do love theater as well. I enjoy my ballets and my plays as well. It's something that I am very passionate about. So wanted to know, Sylvia, if are there other movements that you would like to be part of? Movements that are currently active, or that you are planning to, to once again create and be there for XYZ reason.
Well, this is an interesting question. This space is it kind of shifted during the years, and we've always been a place where activism for the rights of workers of art, entertainment, and culture have always been bright. And then in the recent years, because we are feminists, trans feminists as well, we are considered a queer safe space. So from parties to any kind of formats where there's music, but also contents and book presentation. Jack Alberstam just presented the queer art of failure. We had it's a space where we welcome and we join movements that just pass through it. So it's not about me going to. I'm always I'm always quite active, and being taking care of a space that welcomes these kinds of initiatives. The 8th of March, we've hosted the after party of the march in Rome. So we're very, very strongly recognized by the LGBTQIA plus community in Rome and in general. We are a safe clubbing space as well. So I think that um, that's my way of daily being in the fights, and then using my voice the most as possible, our voice, because luckily we're a group, and using also the space to make it louder. I think that's a big part of it.
No, that's really interesting because the reason why I ask is because you have been just a core piece of being an activist in in many areas. So that's why I wanted to ask if there are more places that you would like to continue or to prosper as a female activist in your day to day basis. But now I wanted to just have one final question. It will be like a two-part question. Do you have any other future upcoming projects that you can tell us a little details of? And as well, can you give us any advice for future actors or actresses out there?
Huh. Well, so about the projects, I can I can't really say much. I can just talk about, as I say usual. I just can talk about the projects that concerning my company. So yeah, we have 3 productions going on in Venice Biennale. We have productions going on in touring in the theaters that already premiered. We have a workshop, trans feminist workshop going on in Bologna with a group of 20 teenagers, um, mostly trans, and mm, about the what I could say to actors and future actors and actresses. You mean?
Yes.
Um, hmm. To train, to study. I think that's crucial, and to try to build their own communities, own groups, own companies, because this is it- the market is shifting all the time, and obviously this is also a job that shifts. Sometimes you work a lot, concentrated in a time, and then there are moments where you don't. Um, you don't apparently like you don't have the contract, but uh, I think that in order to be alive and to continue to grow in this work, in this art, which is also a business, there are several aspects. You need to learn how to balance them all. Um, and I think it's very important to build alliances, to have allies, so to have a team that supports you. Uh, so yeah, cultivating the art, the craft, continuing to study, creating group community in order to support your creative activity, and a team that supports you in business choices and in choices that otherwise you would not be wise enough to do.
Thank you very much, Sylvia, for those kind words, and as well for talking about a little bit about everything about Warrior Nun, and as well all of your endeavors. I hope that one day I can pass by and be in the theater and watch one of your plays. And very thank you very much for being part of Reel In Films.
Thank you very much for the interesting questions.
Thank you.